Proceed.
Yes, thank you. I'll start the session. So now I request everyone to mute your mic and switch off the video to avoid any kinds of inconvenience. Thank you. Hello everyone. A very good morning to one and all gathered here. I am Gayatri Kanama, and on behalf of Rhine Publishers, it's my greatest pleasure in welcoming you all to today's one-day international webinar on the topic Business Environment During and Post-COVID-19, Disruptions, Opportunities and Challenges. The participants can post your queries and clarifications in the chat box. And I would also like to inform that the feedback form for today's seminar would be sent to the respective mail IDs of the registered participants. It's now time to get into the session. And joining with us today is Mr. Nikhil Patil. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, madam.
Mr. Nikhil Patil is currently the Assistant Vice President of the Swiss Re Global Business Solutions India Private Limited. He has an experience of working in corporate sector since more than 10 years at various roles in sourcing, business development, project management domains, handling various commodities like IT professional services and consulting, enterprise management data, and so on. He also possesses competencies across areas of sourcing domains like sourcing user experience, strategic sourcing, vendor negotiations, contract negotiations, and so on. He has worked across various roles in various organizations from the year of 2010. Mr. Nikhil Patil is currently undergoing PhD Program of Management Faculty at Kausali Institute of Management Studies with the area of research being strategic management. He has also presented numerous international papers. We are extremely honored and delighted to have such an insightful person amidst us. Thank you very much for joining us today, sir, and the session is now yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Gayatri. I am really overwhelmed to hear my introduction. Thanks for that sweet introduction of mine to the audience. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and to one and all, because I believe this being international, few might have joined abroad where the location might be different. I'm sharing my screen. Please, Madam, confirm. Is this visible? Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir. Your screen is visible.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So let me start with this. So I believe most of us or all of us might be aware of this story, very old and historical one, an elephant and blinds. If not, quickly, if you can observe the image, you can make it out. There is an elephant. There are 6 people who are trying to see the elephant from different aspects. That's as holy is this. Just to say, there are 6 people who are seeing it. One seeing the ear, thinking it as a fan. One person looks at the teeth, saying it's a spear. One sees the trunk, says the snake, right? So like this, different people sees it differently. So just to say, the relevance of today's webinar topic is we are all going to see this elephant, which is the topic of today's, that is business environment during and post COVID-19. So just to give a disclaimer about the content, what I'll be presenting today is from different literature reviews, different research journals, different studies across the globe, and a little more specific to Indian context is what being covered. So in the end, if we can achieve something about knowing what was during COVID time and what is going to be post-COVID, that's what is the more objective of this webinar would be. So with that little disclaimer, I think we are set to move on. So what is the agenda of this webinar? What are the topics we are going to cover here? This agenda, this webinar agenda, we have split it into 2 phases. One phase is business environment during COVID, which we call it as a disruptions. Second, we can call business environment post-COVID, which is having 2 sections, opportunities and challenges post-COVID. So with this, let's move on to little introduction. What we call business environment. What is business environment? Business environment is a combination of different forces, situational factors, and actors, which can be characterized by different criteria in which business is carried out. And this business environment is the basis for the creation and development of any business. So this is what is more like a standard refined definitions, if I say so, is what is business environment. And business environment has a lot of dynamism into it because of the information uncertainty, unpredictability of events, which results of different activities. Many times it is external, what we see for any business organization for the matter. But even there are few which are due to internal decisions, strategies, how we form around the business environment. So in order to form a best practical strategies for any organization, we need to study and identify the business environment, which is really a complex phenomena in itself. So let's see further. So then we all know in 2020 that COVID pandemic has brought a lot of disruptions, but definitely very important, one big question has raised, which is how companies with global manufacturing and supply chain can survive this impact of lockdowns and social distancing norms. Am I audible? Madam, just can you confirm me? Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible. Please proceed.
Okay, thank you. So, the very important question arised out of this COVID-19 is, as we see, there are a lot of impacts due to lockdowns, social distancing, and health issues, the very importance of human life, right? So then, should any business look for its own interest and survival, or step up and offer its resources and know-how to serve humanity? Okay, this is very important. Okay, which is beyond your quarterly earnings, financial earnings, revenues, and all this part. So the basic questions comes. Then, what is the role of business in society? Is the business of business only business? Okay, or is it something beyond that? Right? So we have seen in the past histories as well, business of business is more than just business. This is post-industrial revolutions in UK, Germany, Europe, and other parts of West, including US. Right? I have given below the citations and source from where these content been taken. I mean, in the end, if you want, we can share that. So now comes the real disruption. What happened? Disruption, COVID-19 has brought this. Okay, what affected most countries in the world, regardless of their status as a country, regardless of the race, social status of the societal status, financial strengths, wealth or poverty, everything, everyone. Mighty also got affected, the one who is mere also got affected. But very important, fear and hysteria maximized the effect of this economic and social crisis. This is one of the important reason of the disruption, right? The population, governments, companies reacted in the most unexpected way, because obviously this COVID-19 was unprecedented in most of the aspects in compared to the previous any of the crises which the whole human society has found anytime, right? So this was the reason why this disruption was brought. Okay. Now let's see few countries who said they were well versed with the crisis and risk management, but still they couldn't able to do it best. But they could able to slow down the spread of infection, but they couldn't immune themselves politically and economical pressures which arised out of this COVID pandemic, right? And COVID has shown that centralized control measures many countries had showed only delayed the spread of virus. Okay? But it couldn't compensate the cause and harm which it brought into the society. So now let's see what has impacted. This is one of the surveys which CIO India has, this is an extract from the survey, which says it has actually two-phased survey. Survey 1 was done during 9th to 11th March 2020. Second was done 23rd and 25th March. This is the time when we see peaks of lockdowns, right, as seen, right? So initially in the survey 1, if you can observe here, I can show these orange, the lighter color ones are survey 1, the blues are the survey 2 results. Initially when we have seen, the impacts was not that much, but later when we have seen in the phase 2, the survey 2, the people have seen real impacts. Hence, we can say that 92% of Indian CIOs, you can call CTOs, right, also expected to have a significant business impact of this COVID-19. Okay. Then, what is that impact? The impact we can see in one way. Another research was done by ETR, Enterprise Technology Research. Okay, they did more than 1,000 CIO surveys, and what they found, that impact on COVID, impact due to COVID on IT budgets is more than 4% decline in their budgets. This is very obviously seen it in this survey, right? Then another interesting study was taken care by Statistica. It showed in its survey that impact of COVID on employment during April across different sections is small traders and laborers is around 91 or 92%, right? And entrepreneurs is around 18 to 20%. The salaried employees around 18%. Whereas interesting was farmers. There was a betterment for the farmers, agriculture sector for that matter. It was around 5.8 to 6%, around close to that. So this is the very interesting study which say that COVID had brought this disruption around manufacturing. This is what our initial point was. Then let's see the another opinion, what we found, the impact on startups and SMEs during March. Very interesting. Where are the impacts? Supply chain disruptions or increase in supply chain costs is 7%. Lower demand or increase in demand for many products or services was around 30%. Whereas both of the above, this is very important, 41%. So this is a very important parameter if we see so. That there is a disruption in the supply chain or the cost increase for your input cost for any manufacturer for the matter. And there is a low demand, which actually burdens any business, right? So together is a very, very bad combination. Very less number of people said about no impact by the time. And again, this also a little significant. If you put together 22, we're not in that position. So this was done early March. Nevertheless, the situation was not that better. So then, for a sectoral wise, what is the impact? If you see here, from color code point of view, the dark brown to the green is something we can see. I think most of you or few of you might have came across this image. This very interesting representation of the impact of the COVID. We have seen that tourism and leisure, right? That is the biggest hit industry. Equal like aviation, maritime. Because of the social distancing, people were not, one is, as a statutory, the governments were having the stuff lockdown, right? That was the one. Second, the fear of the spread, people didn't go. Lot many such reasons were there. So similarly, if we see, this is the representation how we have seen. On the other side, it is not that every industry is in dark or red. There are very few industries which did relatively better than historically. Definitely the healthcare, right? Food processing and agri, that's a very positive sign, especially from Indian point of view. This is one of the interesting observation, or one of the, I can say, a positive side of this disruption, where food processing and agriculture was positive, green, right? Obviously, the healthcare, personal and other stuffs were also high in demand. The another very important is internet and e-commerce. This is also a very pre-COVID. We have seen the telecom companies in India, especially, were not doing that great, but thanks to COVID, they could able to cope up something better. Then this is another study which is from Avasant.com. They did their review around 11 sectors, different parameters. One is how the personal impact has happened, how their operational impact has happened, how their supply chain has impacted, and how their revenues, and what is their overall assessment. Yeah, we see this is how the representation is. The banking, financial, BFSI, insurance, energy and resources, right? Healthcare, like this we have media, public sector, retail. We have different 11 sectors, okay? In that, if you see here, travel and transportation, tourism, all dark spots, that is severely hit, right? So only 3 sectors where there is a white dot, if you say minor impact, is BFSI supply chain. This is a positive sign, because BFSI, especially in India also, has recent trends seen pre-COVID also. It has started becoming digitization. That was one of the important aspect why the BFSI was not badly hit, right? So that was the study what we have seen. So now let's see, what is this disruption? Obviously, we have discussed this point, that economic impact of the lockdown and social distancing policies, devastating on the business. We have seen this. This is what so far when we read these, we can come to know that this turned out to be devastating. But definitely these were necessary in order to prevent the human life losses. Right? So that was the reason. But what is that? Is this an end? Is what is important, right? Businesses invest in and get this support from local communities, and local communities protect the businesses and committed public resources. So we have to see, definitely this COVID-19 is not end of the world. So we need to keep nurturing this symbiotic relation between society and businesses, right? That is the... Hello? Okay. So this symbiotic relation between business and society and communities has to be kept intact in order to have a prosperous society. This is the one outcome what we can see here. Now, what are the bright side of this? There are a lot of opportunities which are there outside. So this is a one study which comes with McKinsey and Company, globally leader in consulting piece. They have did technology research survey where they did a study around what is the readiness of industry 4.0 across different companies. So one interesting learning is companies who were in a phase of, if we see here, companies who didn't implemented industry 4.0, they are the one who were hit by badly. Okay. Some were doing ad hoc application of Industry 4.0. They were a little better. But somebody, if you see here, somebody who is already using Industry 4.0, they are the one who are in much better position. So what it means? The COVID is the wake-up call for those who haven't started their Industry 4.0. Hence what we can say, the next normal is the recovery will be digital. This is the positive side of the opportunity life, which is digital, Industry 4.0, Internet of Things, right? Artificial intelligence, machine learning, across the industry. This is nothing to do with any one, including manufacturing, service sector, okay? You take it BFSI, including the minings also required, Industry 4.0. Obviously, we are seeing the benefit of Indian BFSI, how digitization is going to benefit them. Few examples to share is banks have started eKYCs, that is digital KYC, and digital account opening. You need not to visit to branch. Neither they will come to your place. You can do it through video calls. That's one example of Industry 4.0 to BFSI. So like this, there are many positives and opportunities lies post-COVID. Okay. So now next, what are the opportunities? Companies will grow definitely. As just now I said 5 minutes back, COVID is not end of the world. Definitely there is a new opportunities. But where are the opportunities? The growth are those who will cope up with the changing situations. Companies which continuously adapt to the needs of the market, that to a changing needs, completely evolving needs, okay? And perceived results by creating new product, processes, strategies, learning, and selling intelligently. This is where the future opportunity, it's not too far away. Just after COVID, even today you have to apply this across different businesses. If we observe those companies, those service providers who could able to learn from the disruptions, they are the one who did better. We have seen a very big example, Big Baskets, Grofers, these grocery retailers, they made X times of their previous businesses only because they could able to learn. They adapted to the changing needs, because they were flexible enough to learn and intelligently adapt to this changing environment, what we call here. Okay? And those companies only will see the opportunities. How they will see? By observing fundamental changes in attitude and behavior, and thus creating a mind mapping of the customers. Okay? So this is how the opportunities can be created. Are there actually out there? Only challenge is, what is the challenge? Let's see the challenges now. Very interesting here. This is a study. Again, another global giant consultant, Gartner, has shown us, Gartner Insight. So what are the current challenges across different business, different sectors? What are the challenges in front of them? Is how to respond to this change, how to recover from this change, right? How to renew this change, right? So the mantra for this change is build resilience on your path to business recovery. This is the mantra, what we need to understand. We need to build resilience. How to build resilience? Through strategies to reset, realign, anticipate and adapt to the evolving operating models. We need to evolve our operating models. Then only we can able to build our resiliency. Otherwise it is very, very difficult. We can't run our businesses with old business models. We need to build new business models. That is the new. How to recover? We need to coordinate stabilization efforts, creating different plans to restore a scalable state and identify capabilities needed to strengthen, refactor, reopen, rebudget. That's how we need to recover. We need to have this I to recover through identifying a scalable state. That's where our Industry 4.0 will help us. How to respond in these situations? Definitely these are testing times. The change has to come in decision making and decisive actions, which requires crisis management. Obviously, every organization should have this. And we need to plan and prepare for these pandemic scenarios to ensure business continuity. How you need to continue business is very, very important and vital. In order to have a solid decision making to survive. So, now what is there to conclude? Again, this elephant and blinds comes. To summarize what is there, the disruption has occurred. What has occurred? Disruption. Lockdowns, slowdown, recession, all these are the terminologies we see, right? These are the facts. And business continuity was hit. Your supply chain were hit. Your inputs were hit. Revenues were down. Costs were high. Input costs were high for every business. Name it, every business had this challenging situation. And in a broader sense, unemployment, salary cuts. That means what? Demand decrease. Customers will have less power or purchasing powers, less money in their pockets. But this is not the end. There are a lot of opportunities. What are those opportunities? Opportunities in disruptions are digitization and Industry 4.0. Very importantly, we need to learn our customer. Learning customer is not just understanding the needs. Go beyond it. In these challenging situations, for example, if there are B2B businesses, you need to adjust. You learn your customer through understanding the cash flows of the customer. Try to adapt to your payment terms and other things which are in line with your customer's expectations. Here is where our customer-client relationship has to come. That's where we call it learning the customer. It is not just understanding the needs, or no more. Need, want, understanding is no more enough. You need to go beyond that. You need to adapt yourself to those changing asks. It is not about the product. It is no more just about the product. It is beyond the product. What are the add-ons which customers expect? Few examples I can give. It applies to B2C and B2B businesses both. I can say for B2C, let's say the pizzas, the pizza delivery. We might have observed these. All these pizza deliveries, when they started, reopened, lockdown, unlock was happened, they started taking extra care about the hygiene, safety of the delivery, right? All those things are the extra care, which were not asked by any customers on their own. But if you understood your customer through your customer learning customer, then you yourself have to change, because these are not something which is customer asking on their own to you, but you as a business has to change to deliver it. You have to diversify your risks. What all risks? Risk about your supplies, risk about disruptions, what you get day-to-day businesses. It could be your operational risk. You need to diversify it. Definitely we have seen the global manufacturers diversifying beyond China as their global manufacturing hub. They are looking out for different avenues to diversify their manufacturing capacities. Even service companies, similarly, you need to have these risk diversifications. And definitely reset. What all we need to reset? We need to reset our processes. We need to reset the practices, what we are doing. Otherwise, if we just continue what we were doing pre-COVID, then we can't change. The change will come only if we reset, relook into our processes and practices. That is where the opportunities lies. And what are the challenges? Obviously, there are few external challenges which you have a very limited control, like economic recovery, demand generation. But there are few things which at your end you can generate through your best practices. These are common across every industry, demand generation challenges, right? And business continuity is obviously a big challenge for everyone to having this challenging situation. But yet the one who is learning is the one who can able to make better decisions. Quick decision making for your business continuity is a need of the hour, right? And evolving uncertainty in the business environment. Yes, this is a big challenge, but how you will cope up to it? Be flexible, be understanding what is there, and very important, what your competitors and direct and indirect competitors are doing. You need to know about it. You need to learn that. Then obviously there is a big pressure on revenue and input costs. You need to take up that in order to have all those things. Okay, now let me end it with this note. I think you people can able to read out the top sentence. I would not able to say who said this because there are different anecdotes, but the very good statement. This time is not permanent. It will change very soon. Some say this was said by Birbal to Akbar. Some say it was Krishna to Dharma, Yudhishthira, or somebody else. Some monk said to a king. But this is very important. The time of COVID is not permanent. It will change very soon. Similarly, the opportunities post-COVID is not permanent. It will change. We have seen even during 2008-9 crisis, recessions, what we have seen, that crisis, there are few companies which started then, today they are global giants. Amazon, Alibaba's, they are the one who are giant today, right? But today's challenge, today's crisis will definitely bring some more opportunities to a global unicorn companies. With this note, let me open it out if there are any questions or anyone who would like to add anything. Open to all. Madam?
Yes, sir.
Yes, if there are any questions or anyone who would like to add, we can open it out.
Dear participants, if you have any questions, you can ask it out or post your questions in the chat box, please. Sir, I think there are no questions. There is a question posted in the chat. I'll read it out. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, madam. Please go ahead.
Yes. So it's posted by Anita Alex. The COVID pandemic has really affected the MSME sector. What is your opinion?
Yes, it affected. We have seen it in our one of the research study as well. It has affected. There are few measures which government are also taken during the COVID times and just in recent budgets also. They packaged it as a Atmanirbhar package or something specifically to India. So there are avenues where MSMEs has to tap those in order to come out, recover from this COVID impact. But more importantly, even for MSMEs, they need to understand that they have to think beyond the government help always. They need to go expand because it is now a global market. You need to think globally. The statement we might have heard, think global, act local. That is the mantra which MSMEs has to take it forward. They need to adapt, they need to increase how they can do best practices. Definitely I can say this might be looking like a guess, but there could be a lot of consolidations in MSME sectors also. That is where the opportunity lies. If there are group of MSMEs who will come forward to build sustainable practices, share the best practices, build their common market, so many practices can be done. Again, the mantra for them is think global, act local. That's what I can say as per my opinion. Thank you. I hope I answered the question.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. So, another question is being posted by Prabhakaran. What about the global transport related to our import?
If I understood the question is from logistics, how the logistic industry, how global logistics has to work it out, right? See, import export, yeah. In case of import export, again, this is a influx period for Indian exporters, but definitely it is going to be post-COVID. See, again, I don't want to target it is anti-China as a sentiment globally. No, it is not anti-China global sentiment. It is purely a risk diversification aspect where global companies, global producers will be looking to diversify across different locations. It is not about the sentimental decision to diversify locations. So definitely, this being a situation, India is at a right stage where India can project its capabilities, competencies to share, to get the share of global manufacturing. Thus, you can increase your exports. But nevertheless, the global supply chain needs a global standard manufacturers. So with these 3-4 aspects, if Indian, again to connect the previous question, if Indian MSMEs can able to cope up and produce the global standards, so definitely there are very bright future for import and export. And obviously for imports, just recent budget and previous the goals or the area, how the direction this central government is moving. With this, we can say the mantra what they're saying like an Atmanirbhar Bharat, that is self-reliant, basically what they want. Produce what you need, which you can produce. So that is what their intentions, what I can read from the recent trends. So with this, the import of the things will come down in many ways. It could be import duties, it could be restriction, it could be anything which you can produce, right? Similar to toys is one example, which recently we heard that they are going to promote in Karnataka, export zone for toys. So like this, there are different parameters or factors which will be. But definitely, nevertheless, if Indian manufacturers, Indian producers, if they can produce global quality, there are buyers who are open to buy from India. So for both import exporters, there are options available. Hope I answered.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, someone has asked about my email IDs. Okay, I haven't mentioned here. Okay, any other queries? Madam, can you just share it in the chat box, the email ID, so that everyone can have it, those who want it.
Yes, sir. Yes. And I would also like to inform the participants that the feedback form for today's session has been posted in the chat. Please fill the form. Dear participants, do we have any more questions, or can we wind up the session, sir?
Yeah. If there are no questions, we can wind up. Thank you, madam. Thanks for the opportunity. It was nice to have me here. Thanks for having me here. It was very informative to have questions what I added. Okay, let me myself. I just shared my email ID if anyone wants to connect. So if there are no questions, then we can wind up.